Moving right along here at Redgate Farm, we have to transition some more space into usable space, and Danielle is out right now picking up some organic tillers. Behind me, you'll see the area where we used to have a stack of about 230 logs. Now, once we got about halfway through that pile, we transitioned the western portion of this area into a garden for this year, and that worked out well. We had to amend that soil with a lot of horse manure and sand and different things like that, some lime. The soil testing showed us that we obviously needed to prepare the land before we just planted into it, and it worked out pretty well this year. So we're going to prepare this eastern section now. So come on through and I'll show you how we're doing that. First of all, just all the logs that were sitting here, you know, dropped their bark. There were animals and bugs and beetles and stuff living underneath those logs, which is a good thing. Some of the other things we found when we moved them, we found these are snake eggs. They're all hatched. They're all slit open and hatched, but that's kind of neat. We had some snakes living under there. We have moved some of the sawdust from the lumber mill, and we're going to be moving more of that into here. And we've got some manure piles here from the horses. The question is, how do we incorporate all this? Well, I'm going to give you a hint. We have fencing up. We have electric fencing up, 2 lines of wire. We have a sun shelter, so you can probably imagine we're bringing in the Pigerators. Danielle's about 2 hours out. And we have a lot of organic trash in here. Now, we don't want to pick this up because when you do pick it up, there's worms, there's grubs, there's all sorts of bugs, and that's good protein for the pigs, and that's what their job is, to basically churn up this area. But this is a training pen, just like we did with the last video. We showed you that we train them to hot wire first, and then we put them in a bigger area. We're going to train them in this garden area. Now, we did this up at Redgate Farm, but we made long strips, and we had the pigs go in there for about a week, and they tore it all up, and then we planted berries there. Well, here we're just doing a large area because we'll be doing rows down there like we did on the the west end of the garden. We have water and food up there. I have a big 55-gallon drum with a nipple water on it, and when the pigs show up, I'll make sure that that hot wire is the correct height so that it's right at their nose. We're pretty excited about getting them here. Okay, Danielle just got home. We unloaded the crate, had 3 little piggies in there, and they went straight for the horse manure pile. And there's some watermelon over there, and some water. It looks like the 3rd one is still in there. Let me take a look here. Yep, he's just sitting there. He's saying, hey, where'd you guys go? There we go. There we go. You little grunts. It's good to see these guys.
People ask if we do feed our pigs pig feed, and we do. It's a non-GMO, non-soy mix. Soy really makes the pigs smell bad, and we think it makes them taste bad, so we don't use any soy. But even though there's grain over there, they generally favor the natural foods. They like roots, they like worms, they like grubs and grasses, so they generally don't really go for the feed. Now, when we start seeing that they eat more and more of it, or we go out in the morning, we pour it like we did this morning, then they go for it, we realize that the natural food in this area will be depleted, and that's when we'll move them on. But for right now, they got a full bin right there, which we just filled up, and they really don't care. They are over here digging through the ground.
Well, our little guys have been in here about 3 weeks now. They are trained to the hot wire, we think. We're going to move them really quickly here. But you can see they've done some work in here. And we do have some horse manure in here and sawdust, and they're churning it all together. They dug through all this trash here to get the beetles and bugs and grubs, so that was good for them. And when we want them to actually burrow up in a certain area, we can wet it down. We've had a pretty bad heat wave this week, and every once in a while we have to go out and play sprinkler with the little piggies. Well, these guys are a little bit young and small to do the deep rooting into the ground, but they are massaging the land here and tilling it up just a bit, preparing it for the garden next year. Thanks a lot for watching. We love the comments that we get every week. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We hope more and more people can allow them to be out in the wild, rooting the way God intended. See you next week.